You see, in this vast cosmic dance we call existence, we often find ourselves caught up in a peculiar game. A game where we're constantly striving, reaching, and grasping for something more. We're like fish swimming in an ocean, desperately searching for water. Isn't that a laughable thought? Fish searching for water when they are already completely immersed in it. But that's precisely what we're doing when we believe we are not enough. We're searching for something that's already inherent in our being, something that's been there all along. The very fact that you exist, that you're here, participating in this grand adventure of life, means that you are, by definition, enough. Now, you might be thinking, but Alan, I have goals, ambitions, things I want to achieve. Doesn't acting like I'm enough mean I'll become complacent? But that's where the magic lies, my friends. Acting like you're enough doesn't mean you stop growing or striving. It means you do so from a place of fullness rather than lack. Consider a tree. The mighty oak doesn't wake up one morning and think, oh dear, I'm not tall enough. I must stretch and strain to grow taller. No, the tree simply is. It grows naturally, effortlessly, because that's its nature. It doesn't question whether it's enough. It simply expresses its treeness fully. And that, my dear friends, is what we're talking about when we say act like you are enough. It's about fully expressing your humanness, your unique essence, without constantly questioning your worth or value. We've been conditioned to believe otherwise. From the moment we're born, we're bombarded with messages telling us we're not enough, we're not smart enough, not beautiful enough, not successful enough, not rich enough. It's as if the whole world is conspiring to convince us of our inadequacy. And why is that? Well, it's quite simple, really. The person who believes they're not enough is a person who can be controlled, manipulated, and sold to. They're always seeking, always buying, always trying to fill that perceived void. It's a marketer's dream and a human being's nightmare. But what if, just for a moment, we entertain the possibility that we are enough? What if we act as if we're complete, whole, and perfect just as we are? How would that change our experience of life? Imagine walking into a room full of people, not with the mindset, I hope they like me or I need to impress them, but with the quiet confidence of knowing you're enough. How would that change your interactions? How would it affect your presence, your energy, your very being? You see, when we act like we're enough, we're not putting on a show or pretending to be something we're not. We're simply allowing our true nature to shine through. We're dropping the masks, the pretenses, the constant striving to be better. We're embracing our authentic selves, warts and all. When we act like we're enough, we often find that we become more than we ever thought possible. It's like the difference between a clenched fist and an open hand. When we're constantly grasping, constantly trying to prove our worth, we're like that clenched fist, tight, restricted, limited. But when we open our hand, when we relax into our inherent enoughness, we create space for miracles to occur. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but Alan, I've made mistakes. I've failed. I've hurt people. How can I possibly be enough? But my friends, that's the beauty of it. Your enoughness isn't based on your actions or achievements. It's not something you earn or lose. It's your birthright, your inherent nature. Think of it this way. Does a wave ever fail to be water? Even when it crashes against the rocks, even when it dissipates into foam, it's still water. Its nature doesn't change. And neither does yours. Your mistakes, your failures, your shortcomings. They're all part of the human experience. They don't negate your fundamental worth. In fact, I'd argue that it's precisely these imperfections that make you perfectly human. A diamond with a flaw is worth more than a pebble without imperfections. Your flaws, your struggles, your journey, they all contribute to the unique masterpiece that is you. So how do we begin to act like we're enough? It starts with awareness. Notice the times when you're telling yourself you're not enough. Observe the situations that trigger feelings of inadequacy. Become curious about these patterns without judging them. And then, my friends, comes the radical act of accepting yourself exactly as you are in this moment. Not the future you, not the idealized version of you, but the you that's sitting here right now listening to these words. Can you accept your body with all its aches and pains and imperfections? Can you accept your mind with its fears and doubts and brilliant ideas? Can you accept your heart with its capacity for both love and hurt? Can you accept the entirety of your being, not as something to be fixed or improved, but as a perfect expression of life itself? This acceptance doesn't mean you stop growing or learning. Quite the opposite. When you accept yourself fully, you create the conditions for true growth. It's like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check its progress. You simply provide the right conditions: soil, water, sunlight, and trust. Similarly, when you act like you're enough, you're providing the right conditions for your own growth. You're saying to the universe, I trust in my inherent capacity to evolve and unfold naturally. Now, let's address another common objection. Some of you might be thinking, but if I act like I'm enough, won't I become arrogant or complacent? This is a beautiful question, and it brings us to an important distinction. Acting like you're enough isn't about puffing yourself up or thinking you're better than others. It's not about ego at all. In fact, true enoughness transcends ego. It's a deep, quiet confidence that doesn't need to boast or prove itself. Think of it like this. When you really know that you're enough, you don't need to convince anyone else of your worth. You don't need to compete or compare. You can simply be allowing others to be enough too. It's a state of profound peace and acceptance. Well, it's a wonderful irony. When you act like you're enough, you often find that you accomplish more, not less. But the difference is in the motivation. You're no longer driven by a desperate need to prove your worth. Instead, you're moved by genuine passion, curiosity, and a desire to express your gifts. It's like the difference between a river and a canal. A canal is constructed, forced, always striving to reach its destination. A river, on the other hand, simply flows. It follows its natural course, effortlessly carving its path through the landscape. Be the river, my friends. Trust in your natural flow. Now, I want you to take a moment to really feel this. Close your eyes if you'd like. Take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, nourishing every cell of your body. Feel the ground beneath you, supporting you. Feel the life force pulsing through you. In this moment, can you allow yourself to be enough? Can you drop the striving, the reaching, the endless self-improvement projects? Can you simply be? Feel the relief in that. Feel the expansiveness. Feel the freedom. This is your natural state, my friends. This is who you truly are beneath all the conditioning, beneath all the shoulds and musts and have-tos. And from this place of enoughness, notice how your perspective shifts. The world looks different when you're not constantly evaluating yourself against some imaginary standard. Colors seem brighter, sounds clearer, the simple joys of existence more vivid. This is the gift of acting like you're enough. It's not just about feeling better about yourself. It's about experiencing life more fully, more richly, more authentically. Now, let's be clear. Acting like you're enough doesn't mean you'll never feel insecure or inadequate again. Those feelings will still arise. They're part of the human experience. But then you know deep in your bones that you're enough. Those feelings become like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. You can observe them without being consumed by them. And here's another beautiful aspect of this practice. As you begin to act like you're enough, you'll start to see the enoughness in others too. You'll recognize that just as you are a perfect expression of life, so is every other being. That person who cut you off in traffic, enough. The colleague who annoys you, enough. The family member who pushes all your buttons, enough. Can you see the profound shift this brings to your relationships, to your entire way of being in the world? When you see the inherent worth in every being, compassion naturally arises. Not the condescending kind of compassion that looks down on others, but the kind that recognizes our shared humanity, our shared divinity. Now this, my friends, is how acting like you're enough can change not just your life, but the entire world. Imagine a world where everyone recognized their own inherent worth and the worth of others. How would that change our interaction, our institutions, our treatment of the planet? You see, acting like you're enough isn't just a personal growth technique. It's a radical act of social and planetary transformation. It's a way of being that has the power to heal our deepest wounds and solve our most pressing problems. But it starts with you. It starts here. Now, in this moment, can you be brave enough to act like you're enough? Can you be audacious enough to embrace your inherent worthiness? It might feel uncomfortable at first. After all, we're going against years, perhaps lifetimes of conditioning. But I invite you to experiment with it. Start small if you need to. Perhaps for the next hour or the next day, act as if you're enough. Notice how it changes your posture, your breathing, your interactions with others. And as you do this, pay attention to the voice in your head that says you're not enough. Get curious about it. Where did it come from? Whose voice is it really? Is it truly yours, or is it an internalized message from parents, teachers, society? You might find, as you investigate, that this voice isn't actually protecting you as it claims to be. In fact, it's limiting you, holding you back from fully expressing your gifts and living your purpose. So, what if you thanked that voice for its efforts to keep you safe, and then gently but firmly told it that you no longer need its services? What if you chose instead to listen to the deeper voice, the one that knows you're enough, that knows you're a perfect expression of life itself? This is the voice of your true nature, the voice of what some might call the divine or the universal consciousness speaking through you. And when you align with this voice, when you act from this place of inherent enoughness, magic happens. Suddenly, life becomes less of a struggle and more of a dance. You're no longer swimming against the current, trying to reach some imaginary destination where you'll finally be enough. Instead, you're flowing with the river of life, trusting in its course, enjoying the journey. And here's the beautiful thing. When you act like you're enough, you give others permission to do the same. Your very being becomes an invitation for others to step into their own enoughness. Think about it. When you're around someone who's truly comfortable in their own skin, who exudes a quiet confidence and self-acceptance, doesn't it make you feel more at ease? Doesn't it inspire you to drop your own masks and pretenses? This is the ripple effect of acting like you're enough. Contagious in the best possible way, and in a world that's constantly telling us we're not enough, this is a revolutionary act. Now I want to address something important. Acting like you're enough doesn't mean you become passive or stop setting goals. It doesn't mean you never strive to learn or grow or improve. The difference is in the underlying motivation. When you act from a place of enoughness, your actions are no longer driven by a desperate need to prove your worth or fill some perceived lack. Instead, they're inspired by joy, curiosity, and a desire to fully express your unique gifts. It's like the difference between a child playing and an adult working. The child doesn't play to achieve some future goal or to prove their worth. They play for the sheer joy of playing. And in that play, they learn, grow, and develop naturally. Can you bring that same spirit of joyful play to your life? Can you pursue your goals and dreams not from a place of lack, but from a place of fullness and excitement? This is the paradox of acting like you're enough. When you no longer need achievement to validate your worth, you often achieve more than you ever thought possible. But more importantly, you enjoy the process. You find fulfillment, not just in reaching the destination, but in every step of it. And isn't that what we're really after? Not just accomplishments to add to our resume, but a life lived fully, richly, with depth and meaning. So, my friends, I invite you to embark on this grand experiment. For the next week, act as if you are enough. Wake up each morning and remind yourself, I am enough exactly as I am. Carry this knowledge with you throughout. Notice how it changes your interactions with others. Notice how it affects your work, your creativity, your relationships. Notice how it shifts your relationship with yourself. And when you inevitably forget, because you will, we all do, simply remind yourself again. This isn't about perfection. It's about practice. It's about gradually shifting your default state from I'm not enough to I am enough. Remember, you're not trying to become enough. You already are enough. You're simply removing the obstacles that have prevented you from recognizing this truth. It's like cleaning a window. The sun is always shining, but if the window is dirty, the light can't fully penetrate. Acting like you're enough is about cleaning the window of your perception, allowing the light of your true nature to shine through unobstructed. And as you do this, you might find that life takes on a new quality. Things that used to bother you might not seem so important anymore. You might find yourself more present, more alive to the simple joys of existence. You might also notice that your relationships improve. Then you're no longer seeking validation from others. When you're no longer trying to prove your worth, you can engage with people more authentically. You can listen more deeply, love more freely, connect more genuinely. And here's something truly magical. As you embrace your own enoughness, you might find that you have more to give to others. It's like filling your own cup first so that you can pour from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. This is the true meaning of self-love, my friends. Not narcissism or selfishness. It's recognizing your inherent worth so fully that it overflows to everyone around you. Now, I want to address a question that might be arising for some of you. But Alan, you might be thinking, what about the real problems in the world? What about injustice, poverty, climate change? How does acting like I'm enough help with these issues? This is a profound question, and it brings us to the heart of the matter. You see, many of the world's problems stem from a collective feeling of not enoughness. Wars are fought over resources because we fear there won't be enough. We overconsume and deplete the planet's resources because we're trying to fill an inner void. We exploit others because we don't recognize their inherent worth. When we act like we're enough, we naturally move towards balance and harmony. We no longer need to prove our worth through excessive consumption or domination of others. We can approach global problems from a place of abundance and cooperation rather than scare. Moreover, when we act like we're enough, we tap into our full potential. We access our creativity, our innovation, our capacity for compassion and problem solving. And isn't this exactly what the world needs right now? People who are fully alive, fully engaged, bringing their unique gifts to bear on the challenges we face. So you see, acting like you're enough isn't just a personal growth technique. It's a way of being that has the potential to transform our entire world. But it starts with you. It starts here, now in this moment. Can you be courageous enough to embrace your enoughness? Can you be bold enough to act as if you are already whole, complete, lacking nothing? I invite you to try it. Not just for yourself, but for the entire world. Because as you step into your fullness, you create a ripple effect that touches everything and everyone around you. Imagine a world where everyone recognized their inherent worth. Imagine a world where people operated from a place of fullness rather than lack. Imagine a world where we saw the divine in each other and in all of creation. This is the world we can create, my friends. And it begins with each one of us. So as we come to the close of our time together, I want to leave you with this thought. You are not just enough. You are more than enough. You are a miracle of existence, a unique expression of life itself. There has never been, and will never be, another you. The very fact that you exist is cause for celebration. Your presence here in this moment is a gift to the world. You don't need to earn your place here. You don't need to justify your existence. You are enough simply because you are. So go forth, my friends, and act like the miracle you are. Act like the divine